In this video, my Redcat RDS is getting the last of their aluminum upgrades. These are the upper front control arms. We're going to show you how to get them installed, how to get them set up, and anything that you need to consider for different alignment as you do it. Let's get started by getting this body off and start disassembling the factory arms. Now when you look at these new arms, they actually are marked Redcat, and that is going to be in the upright position. So if you start installing it with the Redcat logo upside down, you know that you've started to install it wrong. The other thing that we're going to want to do here is we're going to be really careful. Where do we currently have spacers with your setup, with your alignment? Where do you have spacers? Noting that the orientation of the arm is the long part forward, not backwards. And then we're going to be really careful about what the total length of this arm is, because as we put this new piece in here, it looks like it's the same length, but you know, millimeters matter. A single millimeter, a half a millimeter matters in drift cars, so it's going to be really important. But as I look at it, it looks like it's the same width, and it looks like it's the same length. So that means we should have a good opportunity here to just bolt everything back in the exact orientation and be in good shape. With the body and the wheel off, getting this upper control arm out is actually rather simple. For this lower ball, if you have a little tool, you can potentially use that tool to come in here and pop it off. Just like that. And then to get the upper control arm out, there's just two screws here that hold the front shock tower. And the cool part is you don't even need to take them all the way out. You just loosen them a little bit and it will be enough to get that insert and that control arm off. Now for me, I still have these 0 degree toe blocks front and rear on this control arm. So that means it doesn't matter. I can just put them right back on. I don't have to worry about orientation. If you have changed that for whatever reason on your car, you're going to want to make sure that you put them back in the right orientation. I also have, remember, one spacer on the front, one spacer on the rear, because I should hold it this way. One spacer on the front, one spacer on the rear, and then we're going to measure this overall length of this control arm. So there's a couple different ways you can do this. You can literally measure from tip to tip. I am 64 millimeters, 64 and a half millimeters from literally outside to outside. I'm doing that because, again, with these, if this control arm is any different dimensions, I want to account for it. If you know that it's the exact same, then you can just measure this distance in here, which I am right at 15 millimeters. So again, we're going to look here. Those look like they are the exact same dimension. So it looks like we should be able to just pull off the pin and the spacers and transfer them directly over. Again, 0 degree toe block, so it doesn't really matter which orientation these are in. And then on the control arm itself, we're going to have to pay attention. I had it at 15 millimeters. Hopefully I had the correctly threaded ends in here. You want to make sure that, looks like I had it, luckily had this assembled right. You could have assembled these since it was plastic and plastic in either direction, so you could have had the reverse thread in here. Good news, I did not. Goes in there so much easier. I measured it, and so now when that's in, 64 and a half. Also in the package, there's also these itty bitty little screws, little 1.5 millimeter screw. So we're going to put some thread locker on that as we put it in. This is going to help keep that control arm in place. Do not over tighten this. This is going to be really, really easy to over tighten. So please be careful with that. Now we have a fully assembled new control arm. With that assembled, we're going to just slide it right back in here. Back in as it was the first time, making sure that everything lines up with the shock tower. Making sure that we can get this back around the right direction. And there we go. Should be in great shape. And it also looks so much better. Look at that. I like it. I'm going to skip around here to the other side and go ahead and get it done and then come back on video. Now, with both of them on, they bolt on just beautifully, no issues whatsoever. They look nice. I'm loving that black design with the little milled edges and everything. The Redcat logos. Honestly, that's just looking great. But it would be good to talk about, why would you want these beyond the looks? They're not super expensive. They're pretty cheap at the end of the day, but because they're the exact same dimensions as the plastic parts, you're not really gaining any additional tuning ability with them. They're basically the same weight as the factory parts, so it's not like you're losing anything there or gaining anything there. I'm not 100% sure in general why you would do it. Maybe there's a little bit of a stiffness, maybe there's a little bit of strength or stiffness or precision that you can gain there. I'll be curious once I get to drive it if I can tell a difference, but honestly, I doubt that I will be able to. So yeah, I think this is one of those, if you just want to upgrade all the parts on your RDS, this is definitely one that is fun, and it definitely makes the car look that little bit fancier, that little bit nicer. But at the end of the day, the other upgrades like the metal servo horn, these lower control arms give you a whole bunch of different adjustability and different alignment that you can do with them. Those kind of things, the different knuckles that Redcat now offers up here for the front, all of those are true improvements, upgrades. This is just kind of a fun to have. And if you're new to the channel, welcome. And if you haven't seen some of the other videos that I've had about this Redcat RDS or just other drift tuning and tech stuff, there'll be a playlist popping up right over here to your right. I hope to see you in one of those videos. Thank you and goodbye.